Cato's capture. Hercules Mulligan was a Patriot spy during the American colony's fight for independence. The Irish immigrant, along with his wife, Elizabeth Sanders, ran a tailor shop in New York City. Hercules used his wife's family's connections, his friendly personality, and his business contacts to gather information. Then he often enlisted the help of his servant, Cato, to deliver secret messages to other patriots. On several occasions, Hercules and Cato's efforts saved General George Washington's life. One such episode took place in 1779. The fictional excerpt from Elizabeth's diary tells of Cato's activities and arrest by the British. Tuesday, April 20th, 1779. Today was quite busy at our tailor shop on Queen Street, with a steady stream of customers coming and going. As always, it was the British officers who consumed most of Hercules's time. They insisted their uniforms fit perfectly so they could command respect from their men and meet military expectations. Poor Cato had to hurry to the warehouse in New York Harbor to obtain additional fabric so that we could fill these orders. This amuses me to no end, as our own revolutionary forces are a diverse assembly of citizen soldiers with nothing uniform about them other than the desire to be free of King George's tyranny. Yet even my beloved Uncle Charles, Admiral in the Royal Navy, worries more about his appearance than military efforts. In fact, many of the men who came by the shop today did so at my uncle's request. They wanted to be fitted for new uniforms made from a lighter weight fabric. My husband, however, did not see these requests as style preferences. He saw them as a clue to some future secret military operation. Indeed, his friendly chat with these soldiers led him to believe that General Howe planned to send British troops to the southern colonies and launch an attack on the Continental Army. So, this was why they needed lighter uniforms. Hercules knew he must get word of these plans to George Washington, and the best way to send them was through his good friend Alexander Hamilton, who was also Washington's aide. I know that many of our neighbors assume Hercules' business dealings and my relations make us loyalists. However, we are very much patriots dedicated to the colony's fight for independence. Mr. Hamilton has encouraged my husband to use his occupation as a tailor to the British to do some spying. He's counting on Hercules to acquire information from his customers that can be relayed in secret to George Washington. And so we have issued invitations for a luncheon tomorrow. We invited our son, John, and Mr. Hamilton's son, John. This will dispel suspicion from Loyalist supporters. What would appear to be a simple assembly of family and friends is actually a preemptive meeting. Thursday, April 22nd, 1779. Oh, what the past few days have wrought! Our son John and his friend John Hamilton came to lunch Wednesday as planned, and Hercules explained that his suspicions about General Howe's plan to attack. John Hamilton promised to act as a courier and relay a message to his father, Alexander, who was scheduled to meet with General Washington in a few days. Later that evening, well after our young men had left and the shop was closed, an aggressive British naval officer pounded on the door, insisting he needed immediate attention. Hercules had no choice but to let him in. The officer demanded that Hercules fit him for a watch coat. Puzzled, my husband asked about the urgency, only to be told that an important operation was underway, and before morning we'll have the rebel general in our hands. Somehow the British had learned of Washington's secret meetings with his aides, and they had set a trap for him. My husband's longtime friend, as well as his friend's son and General Washington, were in grave danger. As soon as the officer left, Hercules dispatched Cato, whom he trusted implicitly, to travel to Washington's camp in New Jersey. My husband gave him a letter and the names of patriots with whom he could shelter safely. Cato left immediately, taking care not to be detected. It is now supper time, and we have no word from Cato, nor have we had any unfortunate news about George Washington or the Hamiltons. We are on pins and needles, anxious with worry about everyone. Friday, April 23rd, 1779. Finally, Late last night, our son John came by with information from the younger Hamilton. Cato had arrived at Washington's camp in time, and both Mr. Hamilton and General Washington had rushed to their meeting and avoided capture. Sadly, Cato had not. A British officer recognized him as my husband's servant and realized that he had been sent to warn General Washington. Cato was arrested, and he now sits in British custody. This morning, Hercules and I will ask my uncle for his assistance in getting Cato released. We have the perfect explanation that he was in New Jersey to pick up the bundles of fabric the British military, had so desperately wanted for their soldiers' uniforms.